Hi guys, and happy Friday afternoon. I apologize, I have not given you any heads up that I was going to go on here, but I had a lot of interest in the card I posted after my team meeting on Sunday, so I wanted to make another one and pop on here and share that with you. And this was just when it was convenient for me to get on, so hopefully a couple of people will see that I've gone live and be able to join me, and the rest of you will catch it on the replay. So if you are not sure what I'm talking about, I am talking about this card here. Sorry, looks like I had frozen. This card here that I had posted, and it is a neat little fun fold, you can see. And so I made this, this was a mystery stamping card from our team meeting. We get given the dimensions, and then we just kind of work along to make this card. So when I made this card on Sunday, this is the iconic imagery, or iconic celebrations maybe? Iconic Celebrations DSP is what I used here. And then I used the iconic imagery bundle. This is this lovely cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. And then this greeting is from Greetings of the Season. And then this is, these dies are the, what are they called? The Spotlight on Nature dies. Anyway, it got a lot of interest, lots of interest. So I am going to share with you how to make this card today. I've already done some prep in order to just have this go by a little bit quicker, because I find I always take too long, and also because I just had time to get ready. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna move some of my scissors out of the way. For whatever reason, I can't see this on my iPad. So if you make any comments, I might not respond because it is not responding for me. Okay, let's see, I've reset it, so maybe it will work. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, we are going to use the More Than Autumn bundle this time, and I've already kind of done some prep work. But the key things that you are going to be curious to know about are the dimensions. Now, I have already cut and scored, but I have written down the dimensions as well, so you can hopefully freeze the video or get a screenshot and you will be able to see. But what we have here is a piece of cardstock, so it's your standard 5 by 8.5, but then you're going to cut it down to 8 inches. So this is going to be 5.5 by 8. Okay, that's what your cardstock is. And then you are going to score that at 3, 6, and 7. Okay, 3, 6, and 7. And then you're really going to want to burnish those fold lines. And then these two here at the bottom are just going to fold up on themselves. Kind of, they're making that little easel or ledge. So it's going to look like this. You're going to get your little V, and then that's the rest of your card. Okay, so hopefully this is working. Yeah, I think it's working on my phone. I think you are seeing this. I'm just not getting it on my, for whatever reason, on my feed. Okay, so this is your card base. All right, then you are going to take your DSP, so you can use different patterns, the same patterns, and these are going to be cut 5 1/4 wide. So each of these are 5 1/4. And then this top one is 2 3/4 to fit in this little space. And this bottom one is a single 3/4, 3/4 by 5 1/4, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. So we're gonna go ahead and just put those on right now so that we are not losing them, and then that piece will be done. Okay. So this DSP that I am using is from the Take a Bow DSP pack. So it is in the catalog along with a bundle that allows you to make paper bows. But the DSP is super bright, super fun. Take a bow, and it's these fun 6x6 pieces. Okay, then we are gonna put this other piece on. I had considered using 2 different patterns, but I felt like it was blending in too much with the background, so I decided to stick with just this red and white pattern. We're gonna use the second pattern in our card, at least for this go round. Okay, so there is your DSP put on onto our fold. Okay. You can see it still stands, so people can display this one. Sometimes fun folds, they don't always stand very well, right? And then they're hard for people to display on their mantle. Okay, next bit is, so a piece of a neutral. So I've used basic white. You could use very vanilla. Depending on your DSP colors, you could use some other neutral, basic beige or crumb cake, even a smoky slate. I've also seen this card made because our whole team made them. I think some people actually even use DSP for this. So, I mean, I guess it really just depends on what look you're going for and what DSP you're using. Okay, so this piece is 4x6 and it has a score line at 1 3/4. Clearly, I need to clean my bone folder so that it doesn't mark up my paper. Okay, this piece you could stamp on, you could emboss, or you could just leave as is. So you can see in the card that I made before, I had embossed with that Forever Plaid, and I didn't emboss the back, I only embossed the front. You could emboss the whole thing. So I thought we would emboss this one as well though, because I do like the look of it being embossed. And I thought I would try this dotted circles embossing folder. It's a fun one, and I thought it would go with the dots that I'm going to use in the rest of the design. So, okay. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to have the edge hanging off, like I said, because I don't want that. All right, so I'm going to run this through the embossing folder, or not through the cut. I'm going to run this through my machine. Sorry, I just checking the edge. I missed the very edge of it, so I'm just going to redo a bit of it. So there is our embossed layer. Okay, and now we are going to attach this. So this piece you're going to want to pay attention to. Tear and tape is what we used when we made it for mystery stamping. You could also use Seal Plus, but I'm going to show you with tear tape. It works really well. So basically you are going to put 2 rows of tear tape here. The bottom, it's basically the exact thickness that you need. And then you are going to put a single row or strip of tear tape over here. Okay, so we are going to start with this one. We're going to tear this off. Without tearing the actual sticky bit off. Okay, and then you are going to center it. So eyeball it as best you can, and you're going to line it up with the bottom. So that looks pretty good to me. Then I'm just gonna turn it over to make sure it's flush, and we're gonna just press that in, okay? So that is adhered. And then, now this bit is going to just adhere on the back. So now you're gonna fold your card, same way as it would go in your envelope, okay? Hold it down, back with the back up. You're gonna take your strip off your tear tape. I'm always better at getting it off one end than the other. Okay, take our strip off. Push this back flat and then just fold this flush. Okay, keep everything nice and flat, and then this is gonna work out just fine. So then now you can see you've got your fold, okay? So hopefully that bit is making sense. And now we're just gonna go ahead and decorate the card. So if you wanted to add ribbon like I did on this version, this would be where you would add the ribbon. You'd add that piece now, tying it around this layer, okay? I'm thinking I'm not gonna use any ribbon this time, but what we're going to do, I saw a card with this and I thought it was super cute, is a couple of little coffee cups. So I have already die cut in our Real Red cardstock, like I said, using the Spotlight on Nature dies. And then what I have also already done is I've taken my coffee cup, I've inked it up in Real Red, and I have stamped on 2 different pieces of DSP. And this is gonna just be so we have some little decorative sleeves. So I did it on this polka dot one, which is from this same pack of paper. And then I have also done it on this, which is from that iconic Celebrations. So I just wanted to have those stamped in advance, and then I'm just gonna cut. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need to cut inside or outside of this line when we actually stamp the coffee cups. So I'm just cutting outside because obviously I can always make it smaller, but I cannot make it bigger if I do it too small. Now, this DSP is not Real Red, it's Cherry Cobbler, but I still thought it would be okay. I liked that it had the candy canes because we're gonna go with sort of like that peppermint mocha, peppermint hot chocolate kind of idea. So I thought the candy canes were cute. Okay, so put those off to the side. We don't need them anymore. And then now we need some basic white cardstock. And I also need to clean this because we are not going to stamp the cup in red. Okay. We are going to stamp in Memento so that we can use a little bit of blend if we want to. So get over Memento, and I've got some white here. So I'm gonna do 2 coffee cups, and I'm going to do 2 whipped creams. And we may or may not do some sprinkles, and we may or may not do a candy cane. So let's get a little candy cane here. Okay, we'll start with that. Okay, so go ahead and ink this up. And then we're going to do a second one. That turned out well. We are going to do our whipped cream. Do I have enough room up here? No, I think it's going to end up getting cut off. So we'll do our whipped cream. We'll do another whipped cream. I'm going to do a little candy cane in case we want it. Might do a couple, just cause. And then the sprinkles would go in there, right? So I'm trying to think when I have had a peppermint mocha or peppermint anything. I think the sprinkles are usually red, aren't they? I don't think they're red and green or anything. That would be weird to have green sprinkles, I guess, at Christmas. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some sprinkles in there. Okay. And we can also go ahead and do our candy cane. So there are two schools of thought. One is to die cut before you color, because in case you mess up your cutting, you haven't wasted all your time coloring. But I find with tiny things like this, it will be harder to color once I've die cut it. So I'm willing to take the chance on those. I am gonna wait on the cups. We will die cut the cups and then add a bit of color. So I'm gonna go ahead and get, you can see these are other projects I was working on here where I had done some coloring and die cutting in advance. So let's get those out. All right, and then I'm just gonna get the plate. My plates are terrible. Get a plate, get our die, line it up. We're gonna have to do it this way, otherwise it's gonna be off and ruin our paper, isn't it? Okay, so line it up, and then we're gonna go ahead and tape it down. And I'm gonna get fresh tape. I like to use fresh tape in my videos. Last thing we want is this moving around. And then we're gonna get a whipped cream. So I'll do this one. The other thing I want to tell you, if you have this set and you're wondering what this little weird shaped die is for, it is to cut just the top of the whipped cream for your pie. I can show you. So it's to do this little die cut. So you have a little bit of whipped cream for your pie. I didn't know that, and I fussy cut that, and then I figured it out. So sometimes it's a good idea to play with the dies. I know some demonstrators do that. Certainly the big demonstrators who like this is their full-time job, I find that they get everything and then they stamp with everything and they practice with all the die cuts. I don't generally have extra time. So I'm usually trying to learn from someone else or, you know, figuring it out as I go. Okay, so there we go. So we're gonna run that through, and then we're going to, we might use this die cut. So this says nothing's better than, and we might do nothing's better than peppermint, but I haven't decided. We might do stamping instead of die cutting. Okay, I'm gonna run this through. You can see that these dies would fit through your mini as well. Hi, Emma. Oh my goodness, that's exciting. This is very exciting, friends. We have Emma Goddard joining us, who is the Coastal Crafter. She is one of the, she's a top demo from the UK. She does amazing things. I like to take her classes sometimes. So this is a treat. She's up late. The time change. Thank you for popping in. See, I wish my Facebook was working properly. Then I'd actually be seeing all these comments. Good thing I stood up and looked through my phone. Okay, punch these guys out. And then we're just gonna go ahead and die cut the second set. And then we'll carry on. This is why I try to do things in advance, because I feel like this is the finicky bit. You guys are stuck watching me thinking I could be doing something else with my time. I mean, maybe that's not what you're thinking. I don't know. I feel like, you know, it's the age of constant scrolling. So you watch for a second, you scroll past, maybe you come back, maybe you don't. I'm a classic for, I see something and think, ooh, that's going to be cute. And then I wait until the video is ended. And then I just scroll ahead to see what the finished product was. And then if there's something I don't understand, because I want to make the card myself, then I go back and watch the bits of the video that show me the piece I didn't get. So I don't know. I think some people use these videos because they really enjoy watching. Others want to learn, so then they watch for that reason. Some people are just kind of curious, like, oh yeah, I've got that set. What are they doing with it? So all sorts of things, right? Okay, there's all our dies. And then I am just going to, this tape can be reused. If you're wondering about this tape, I mean, I use it in almost every video now. So the Sizzix tape you can get on Amazon. You get 2 rolls for like $4 or something. That's Canadian, so depends where you live. But it's cheap, 2 rolls. You just tear it off. I like it. The other one you can get is from 3M. They have one as well. So if you're noticing, I trace my dies so that I, A, know where they should go back, and B, helps me to know if I'm missing one. So nobody wants that, right? Where you're like, how many are supposed to be in here? So for me, that is just a good way to keep track. I'm also going to quickly clean these stamps, usually because as soon as I'm done the video, I have to race off and be a grown-up. Today it will be I have to go get dinner ready. So if I've cleaned them, then at least I know I can put them away later. Usually when I've cleaned them, I'll do this. I'll put them all on one block, or as many of them on one block as I can. I almost always do that to clean them even, because then I just run it through the chamois at one time. But that way I know this whole block is clean. And then when I get to it, I can put it away. Also, then I have less blocks. So those are my tips if you're also like a bit of a messy crafter like I am. Like you want to put it away in theory, but you don't. Okay, so now we're going to take our little sleeves and put them on there. So what do you think? So I think on this one, I might cut the red off. Let's hope that I don't regret this decision. Only because it's really standing out, whereas on the, obviously on the red one, it's not. So if I regret this decision, we will restamp it. Or what we will do, and I thought about doing this, is you stamp on the back side of the DSP, right? And then it won't show. Okay, yeah, that's good. I like that. So I'm going to do the same on this one as well. This is so annoying that it's totally freezing. I mean, I believe it is not freezing for you guys, so that is good. But I like to watch myself without having to stand up to be able to see your comments. I used to do all my videos standing so that I could watch through my phone and see your comments and also see what I was doing. But then once I got this mount, I could put my iPad in front of me, and that way I didn't have to. Okay, so there's our cute little sleeves. So we're gonna go ahead and, oh my gosh, nearly 1 a.m. Yes, that is late. I sadly have to, my son has lacrosse tonight. He made a team representing our province. So that's a big deal. Like kids try out from all over British Columbia for their age group. So he made this team, and so they practice every week, but they practice Friday nights from 9 until 10:30. The field is a half an hour from where we live. And then the same group of kids practice Saturday morning from 9:30 to 11. thankfully closer to where we live. But the reason that they have to do this is because some of the kids are traveling. They either have to travel by ferry or they're driving like 4 hours from the interior of the province to come for these practices because they've made this team, but they don't live down here. So I can't really complain because at least it's close to where we live, but it's still kind of crazy. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put the whipped cream on as well. So what I usually do for this is I just run a little bit of seal at the bottom. Oh, wait, I'm not gonna do that yet because I wanted to do a little bit with my blends, didn't I? So I'm gonna get ivory, and I think I got a new one. I don't think this is it though. The question is, where is it? It's probably upstairs. Okay, I definitely ordered it. I don't know where it is right now. So we will use the, oh, that's the end that's totally dry. Okay, but what we are gonna do is just a little bit of shading. And then we are going to take our color lifter as our way of blending it because we're not using a second color, so we have nothing to sort of like blend. But just to add a bit of, yes, okay. I really need to find the new ones when I get off of here. And you can kind of, you know, obviously you can sort of do this however you want. I usually try to I make little triangles kind of is what I end up doing. So there's like a graduation of color that kind of matches the contour. You can see that it is a very good thing that I have ordered new. So it's the ivory and the bronze. I wish now that you could just order the ivory because I've used the ivory a lot for these kinds of things. Your other option would be to use crumb cake, but I kind of like the ivory. So it's just kind of giving your cup just a little bit of dimension. Okay, I'm gonna leave this out so then I'm gonna remember to look for my new ones. Okay, now we are gonna go ahead and add our whipped cream. And of course, someone is at the door. And I don't know who is at the door, and I'm doing this, and my son probably can't hear because he is playing video games. So hopefully it's not anyone important because I'm not going to go answer it. I don't think I was expecting anyone. Okay, so I think we should put the little hearts out front, the peppermints, right? So we got our little cute little coffee cups. And this can overhang, right? Because this whole thing is what's going to go in your envelope. So I definitely like that idea. I like those like that. We could pop them up. We could also put a little candy cane on that guy if we want. I'm not sure if we're going to use those or not. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this over like this because I like this overlap. So this is another thing that I will often do. So I like how I've got it. So I'm going to put a dimensional right in the middle so that now they are a single entity. And then that way I'll just play with that as like a single entity. Now, you also might think, you should mix your small dimensionals with your big ones, but they're not quite the same thickness. So I don't know if you've noticed that, but they are not quite the same thickness. So you kind of can't really put the two different sizes on a single item. Kind of got to go all in with one or the other. Okay, and if you're wondering why I didn't totally center that, it's because, we got to put our statement out here. So I'm going to glue this down flush because I'm going to pop up our greeting. I am going to use this one so I can move it around. And I know, like I said, the edge is going to be off, so I'm just going to do it like that so that I don't end up with glue where I don't want it. Okay, we're going to go like this, glue this down. I can't remember where I saw this idea or this card that was super cute. I am going to change that just a little bit, so I'm going to change the angle of my coffee cup a tiny bit. But I will give them credit when I repost this. I will put it in the comments. Okay, so there we go. Super cute, right? Super cute. We might not use those little guys, but I'm gonna put them there so we don't lose them. Now, we have a couple of choices. We can just use stamping, and we can either do Nothing's Better Than Peppermint, or You Had Me at Peppermint, or Love You More Than Peppermint, or we could do Peppermint Is the Best, or This Calls for Peppermint. We could just do Peppermint Season, or we could use the die cut and do the Nothing's Better Than. So these are the questions I have. So I know there are a few of you on here, so maybe you can comment what your thoughts are. I'm kind of wondering, so here I said, this one I put You Are the Pumpkin to My Spice, which I thought was cute. Okay, I'm gonna just get this out of here. Gonna get some more stamps. So I think we definitely want the word peppermint. I think that we know. So I'm gonna get that out. And I'm gonna put that on here. So we can either do Peppermint Season, or we can do like Peppermint. And then, what should we do? You Had Me at Peppermint? This Calls for Peppermint? Maybe You Had Me at Peppermint. Let's do it. So I am going to do these on little white strips, and I'm going to stamp in Real Red, and we're going to go from there. I had a whole bunch of white strips. Which may or may not be thick enough. I think they are, so that's perfect. Okay, we're gonna wanna banner them, or the one end at least. So I'm gonna kind of stamp like that so that we can play around with it. And then I'm going to take this one, which might be the perfect length. So I always get these 1/2 inch strips, and you would probably have them as well. Anytime you cut your cardstock, so you're 11 by, what's our cardstock? 11 by 8.5, but sometimes you need just a strip, right? So I'm gonna want that to kind of go in there like that. So I'm gonna give myself some extra. And then this one, I want it to be the same angle. So I'm gonna use that piece I cut off of this one to do that. Okay, so now those are both the same angle. And then I'm thinking this is gonna go in here kind of like this. Okay, so that one I'm gonna put in there like that. So we are gonna put, again, we have to have the same, well here you don't have to have the same thickness of dimensionals if you don't want. So we could do the little guys. And then you're gonna see, I'm gonna slide this in. Like that. Make sure it's not overlapping. Okay, I'm just gonna pull it up a little bit because you can see that guy's coming off my card. That'll be sticky, no one will like that. Okay, there we go, peppermint. And then this one, I'm actually gonna cut smaller. And then I'm gonna get my bigger scissors because that way I know that I am cutting in a straight line. And I'm actually gonna make this guy smaller. And then we're gonna put him here. And we're actually gonna get rid of the, there we go. So now we have to make sure it actually is flush with the letters because I think I stamped it crooked. Okay, and we are going to put some seal on here. And then we're gonna take a couple of the little, these little guys. I'm actually gonna cut it in half just because I'm not sure how much overlap we're gonna have. And then we're done, I promise. Thank you for sticking in here, sticking with me. Hopefully, A, you think this fold is cute, and B, you think just the card in general is cute. This is a super cute bundle. If you don't already own it. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna bring this in here and I'm going to make sure our seal isn't showing.